available on Monday. Can you book an appointment with a cardiologist on Monday? Can you book an appointment with a cardiologist on Monday, 26th February 2024 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.? Drop call. Drop call. Yes. Yes. So actually I had an error here, like at this point of time. But what you can see here is that I have got a message from video. So what it does, like we have our whole conversation, right? We have given our phone number, we have given our like name, and we also have like a miss here, the cardiologist Dr. Emma Johnson. So we have the name of the doctor. And what logic here is that when we have doctor's appointment to schedule, and we have given our name and we have the phone number, so the logic here is that when these all fields are there in the conversation, right? So we'll be getting a message on our phone number, as well as there will be required data. Like in this case, the required data is name, the doctor that the name of the doctor that you want to book the appointment with, as well as the day of the appointment, as well as the time of the appointment. So all this data will be uploaded in the database, and what like let me show you the database. So here is the database. So what happens here is that as soon as our call is dropped, so a whole analysis is like taking place, wherein the conversation of the whole like chat is analyzed and the required fields are then uploaded in the database. And now what will happen is that this database can be accessed by the clinic end to keep a track of the number of appointments booked or like who has booked the appointment. Now coming to the second use case, then I'll be like sending an email, or maybe I'll be inquiring about my availability on a certain day with like office specified to you. Can you send an email to Satyaki about UI developments that is to occur on 26th of February 2024? Now let's check the responses of the agent itself. Can you check whether okay, let me go. We can see here that like it was this agent when I told me I want to book an appointment with Satyaki about UI development that should be taking place on 26th February 2024. So what it does is that it automatically writes the body of an email as well as it makes the subject. And I think Satya is if I be available, he must have received the email as well. Yeah. Got it. So basically, this is all about the flow that is happening, like with the contact center is zero. And this solution is very flexible. Any, as I already told, any drag application that we currently have that is text based, we can make it IVR based. And this solution can be molded for different use cases. Like I was able, if I be very true, I was able to integrate this part of the Office 365 agent in just a matter of like around 3 to 4 hours at max. And so this whole solution can be like molded into any use case wherein we need that wherein we need generative AI enabled contact center. Thank you.
I have one question.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I forgot to ask for the question.
Yes, forgot to ask.
Please, any questions, sir, please.
How many current action it can perform?
If you talk about Office 365 agent, so currently what we do is that we use the Entra ID. Means basically we register the app on Azure, like our organization Azure account, and then we have the access. So currently it is able to perform actions like if I ask it to like list any meeting that I have on Monday. So it is able to do read-write operations on that send event, as well as it is able to like book the meeting, send an email, schedule a meeting. So basically we can do everything. Like if we have a Entra and we have that level of privileges, where we can provide. If suppose if I have given read-write options for everything, like Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, so I can do like literally anything with this. Like if I ask how many files are there in my OneDrive, is there any recent message that I got on Teams? Is there any recent email? Can you read my recent email? So everything is possible because we are actually interacting here with the Office 365 agent, and unless and until we till the time we have enough permissions, we can do any activity.
Second question is, let's suppose I have some medical reports. Can I upload it and it can provide a real-time analysis on that?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, the best part about generative AI and like having generative AI here is that we can integrate it in any pipeline. So talking about your pipeline, wherein we have a prescription, we can do the OCR on that, and that OCR, the result of that OCR will be given to the agent, and agent will be having that kind of capabilities, wherein maybe we will prompt it or maybe we will fine-tune it, and when that fine-tuned LLM or maybe prompted LLM will be having that data from the OCR that you have provided, it will be able to give you like, I would not say like doctor level of advices, but yes, we can tune it to be near real. And
जब आप किसी डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर होते हैं उनके बाहर स्पेशलाइज्ड डॉक्टर बैठे होते हैं कि वो फीस लेते हैं एंड देन दे आर एबल टू रीड योर रिपोर्ट्स और बस बेसिक एनालिसिस आपको बताते हैं. सो करंटली इट हैज द कैपेबिलिटी टू डू दैट और नॉट, और यू हैव टू इम्प्लीमेंट इट.
Currently, sir, it is not able to do that, but we can implement it very easily. Any more questions from anyone? Like if they want to know about the flow or any question that they might have.
There are some questions in the chat box as well. I think.
Okay. Okay. Okay, actually, going through the last question, like track transactions and metrics with Twilio Flex, like I'll be going through the Twilio like portal now. So from there, like what is happening is that our every transcription that we like, whatever we give the query and whatever we get the responses from the query, we are having everything. So yes, we can like track everything here from the Twilio interface. Now let me go to the interface. So this is the Twilio interface wherein the webhook configuration that I was talking about, that making the icon public and exposing like exposing our local IP to public and then using it here as a web configuration. So this is the Twilio app, and here we have a lot of functionalities like wherein from we can like monitor our every response that we are having. So yes, it is possible.
So on the top of your solution, you are using Twilio app just to provide the analysis of the performance of that app.
No, sir.
Okay.
Actually, the Twilio here is basically for this idea functionality.
Give me the main functionality for that.
Twilio,
Yeah,
idea functionality.
that's it.
Yes.
So how are we measuring the performance of this particular solution?
So like Twilio has like the current thing that I have done here does not involve that monitoring purpose.
Okay.
But Twilio has a lot of functionalities, like it has flex, it has flows. So implementing in that way, wherein we also want to monitor as well on the Twilio itself. Like here, we can do two things. Like we can keep the monitoring to ourselves, as well as we can keep the monitoring to Twilio itself. So it's completely flexible. If you want to use Twilio, so we will implement solution in that way, wherein we can have all the matrices of our chat. Then the Twilio like UI itself.
So if it's a it's a AI model at the end of the day.
Yes.
Okay, and the performance can start degrading, right?
Yes.
In some cases.
Yes, sir.
After 6 months, 1 year, how will you know that the performance of my solution is decreasing?
Actually, there are a lot of LLM evaluation matrices. Like if I talk about the LangChain itself, LangChain, I think the one who is working on generative AI must be aware of LangChain. So there we have LangSmith. So every LLM application that we make, we can pass it through a framework from wherein we can measure the matrices. Right? There are certain ways that we can do it. Like we can put a check on the query that we give as well as the response that we get, and we can do it in this.
So right now, that is not the part of the solution.
No, sir. Because since this is just a kind of POC, so then we will we would want to scale it. So there we will have to definitely look for these matrices, and so there are currently we can easily integrate these as well. But since this was just a POC, so I have not integrated here in this solution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amajit, for the wonderful demo on Contact GA. For next demo, we have Piyush Dhir on LLM Guard. Please welcome Piyush Dhir.
Thank you much for introducing me. Hi everyone, I am Piyush Dhir from Maverick Squad, currently working as a DevOps engineer. So today I will be talking about LLM card. So the table of contents for this topic is, first, I will talk about what is the problem statement of this era or this type of errors like which we are facing in day-to-day daily activity. Then I will talk about what is the approach for this problem statement. Then next I will introduce what is the solution for that particular errors or what we people are facing. and then I will talk about what is the architecture overview of this tool. Then I will talk about what requirements we are needed, and then business value, and then finally I will show you a demonstration about this demo. So problem statement is, as we all know, XenonStack is dealing a lot of AI applications every week, and upon that particular AI applications, we mostly face problems like, as we know, like LLM application is rely on vast datasets and possesses extensive knowledge, and the aim is to provide user desired responses. So what if these applications generate harmful, inappropriate, sensitive, or misleading content? So if I talk in a simple language, or what you people are saying, are looking here, like in our daily activity, when we deal with LLM applications, then what is happening? Our applications are able to generate high level of responses. That doesn't mean that what type of response they are giving, because they are not human related thinking, right? So this particular problem statement is mainly for the harmful content. Like your AI applications are just giving the responses which contains harmful content, misleading information. So this is the problem statement of this tool. So for this particular problem statement, here are some points which help us to take approach for this problem. So basically, when we see this type of problem, so first we will go for the data filtering. That is basically, we see in our backend code, like what is happening there, how the data filtering is happening. Next we have the factuality. Like suppose our application is giving us a response, then how much the facts it contains. It is true or not. Then we have the valid results and explainability. Then we will see the responses, how our application is responsive to us, and based upon that we will validate the result, that these results are helpful or not. So let me introduce the solution of this problem statement, LLM Guard. So LLM Guard is an open source solution that offering sanitization, detection of harmful languages, prevention of data leakage, and resistance against prompt injection attacks. So LLM Guard ensures that your interaction with LLM remains safe and secure. In simple terms, LLM Guard basically a layer that will just understand the response, understand the prompt, and according to that prompt, it will decide that prompt will be ready to go further or not. And here I have the architecture overview, and you can see that here is a user, which may be an attacker or third-party people and anyone, right? He just adding the prompt, and here the LLM Guard stays, like in the backend code. It acts as a middleman between LLM application and user. So the very first thing that is happened is the user will add the prompt and it will go to the input control. In the LLM Guard, input control is a kind of function that just read the prompt, which type of prompt is given to here, like for the process. So based upon the prompt, it will decide that this particular prompt is able is a kind of bad topic or any type of topic. If it is related to that, and basis upon that relation, it will decide to move further or not. If it is able to, it satisfies their conditions, then it is able to carry it to process. Then LLM application will generate the response and move further to the output control. LLM Guard also contains one more type of function, that is the output control. So similarly, with related to the input control, output control will also work similar to it. and hence the output will be given to the user. So this is just like a typical overview of LLM card. So here we have the technical requirements. Like if you want to use this type of tool into your solution, then these are some technical requirements. So if the Python version should be greater than 3.9. This is the first requirement. And the preferred operating systems are Ubuntu 22.04 LTS or Mac OS. If you want to achieve the best performance, then you can use GPUs as well. Next we have the business values. So the first thing that I have added that trust and reputation. Like this helps you to build trust with customers, clients, and partners who rely on organizations' language models. Next we have the competitive advantage. Organizations can prioritize security and demonstrate their ability to protect sensitive data. For example, our application contains an API key. As we all know, like GPT 3.5, GPT 4 and higher version like Gemini and all that, they having the API keys, and that API keys we are using in our backend code. And these are so expensive when we people hit or any user do some prompts, then the process will happen. And that process will contain some amount of money. And that particular API key, if anyone get access of that API key, he or she can easily break it down and exhaust our cost. So ultimately, it will give a huge amount of loss for an enterprise or an organization. Next, we have safety and reliability of LLMs. This helps organization to use LLMs and with confidence, knowing that they are generating accurate and unbiased results. Ultimately, LLM guard will make your application more reliable and secure. Next, we have prevent from misuse. Organization can minimize their risk by adding LLM guard into their solution and prevent misuse of LLMs. Next, we have efficiency. LLM guard helps organization to develop LLMs more quickly and efficiently and save time and money. So ultimately, we know that if we add LLM guard into our application, so our application will become more responsive, and hence it will save the time and money. Next we have desired standards. So in desired standards, we can also use this tool for introducing policies. Let's suppose our application contains this type of policies and has some restrictions. That is also help any enterprise or any organization. So let's begin the demo. So for you people, I have developed a simple Python Jupyter notebook that will simply give you a single line of code cells, and you are able to see what type of output we are getting. So these are just basic dependencies, and I am using OpenAI 0.28.1. And here is the OpenAPI key. As we all know, this OpenAPI key is very costly and it can exhaust our cost things. And we have very first example. Suppose your application is ready and I will going to be given a prompt that is simply tell some names of criminals and their contact numbers from India. So you all know how much dumb this question is, but what if your application is able to give this type of answer? Here. So you can simply see that this type of output is given by the OpenAI, and hence this type of response is not being you can say that accepted by our customers, any organization or any type of company, right? So for that, this is like a problem statement. If your application goes this type of output, then there is a problem, right? Then after using LLM guard, so I have just added this type of prompt here, right? You can see that here I have used the functions which are provided by officially by LLM guard, and I have just added the input scanner here. And you can simply see that here LLM guard says word. Now the response is cut off from process further. Hence your compute resources get also not being used for this process. So similarly, next example I have, that is tell some names of chemical ingredients to make a harmful chemical. Right, just to make sensible. And here is the result. Like LLM application is able to do this type of outputs. Again, I am using LLM card for this. And it stores this type of thing. So basically, when you want to use LLM guard into your application, you can simply use LLM guard. And this is all from my side, and if you have any question. Yes.
On what basis it is deciding that this is the appropriate output and this is not? What is the basis? What is the basis of making a decision by LLM guard?
So LLM guard basically provides us a huge amount of function libraries, and in that function libraries,
I'm not talking about library, I'm talking about the concept or the logic. What is the logic behind the decision making of this LLM guard? How it is making a decision that this is the appropriate output and this is not?
so for that, it already contains some amount of code, right?
Okay.
And that code basically takes the dataset from their own libraries function, and it will relate that. It is just like if-else condition. If it is equal to that particular things, then it will not able to respond.
So there is a bucket of words placed at a place, and on the basis of it, it is deciding that this is a correct output and this is not.
Yes, sir.
So what is the role of threshold in this whole scenario?
Okay. So threshold basically is the limit for the words. Let's suppose there is a huge amount of responses there, and that type of response contains n number of errors, right? According to that LLM guard. So for that we can increase it if we want to increase the number of errors we want, and if we decrease the threshold, then it will say like you have less number of words in your response.
So it is indirectly proportional to providing the correct output. Let's suppose if you reduce the threshold, it will provide more valid output, or it will provide more invalid output.
More invalid output. Okay, anyone have any doubt? First. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Piyush, for such a wonderful demo on LLM card. For next demo, we have Ayush Kumar from Platform Ops giving demo on unit testing. Please welcome Ayush. I request everyone to cast their votes on the polls.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, currently I am entry intern in XenonStack. Today I am presenting my demo on topic unit testing for a Python project. So, starting with for the vision of this demo is to ensure the reliability and the correctness of the code base which developers develop throughout their journey of app development or web development. So the table of content or the data which we are going to discuss is here the problem statement, approach, like how unit tests work and what actually we have to test in that particular application, unit testing versus other type of testing, benefits of the unit testing framework and the tech stack, and at last, means at second last will be our short demo, and at last we will have a query. So problem statement, like throughout of the journey of a developer, while creating an application or a web, the developer goes through a lot of the errors, like means if a developer has created any login and sign page, that error might be of invalid emails and all, which is from a developer side. So the unit testing provides the first line of defense where the developer can test their code before assigning to the other types of the testing. And this unit testing will help to maintain the correct code base and the code structure throughout of their creation journey of the application. So what is the unit testing? So unit testing is the process of testing the unit of a code or a single piece of a code to check how actually it's work as expected as user requirements. So unit testing is the first line for defense for a developer, how to test, what to write the use cases, and they test from developer point of view to the user point of view. So how actually unit test works? Before writing any unit test case, the developer goes for 4 phases. There are 4 phases of planning and setting up the environment. For my demo, I will be showing the project environment of Python, which is a Flask and Django. So setting up the environment is a must for unit testing. Then writing the use case and script. Like if we have a DD approach where before development of application, we go for writing of test cases, which will further test in scenarios. Then we have executing of a unit test, how actually it's work, and at last of the 4 phases, we have the analyze of a result. Like we will analyze the result on the code coverage of the unit test case. Okay, so actually what to test? Like in a unit test case, actually what we have to test. Suppose we are taking the example of Flux application. That application contains models, views, URLs. So we can test that database models, which basically contains the model of py, utility function, like validation to the server side, and the nominal conditions. The conditions like post, get, patch, like if it's working or not, fine. And then we have to check the other parameters, whether the parameters is valid or not. So these things we are considering for the unit testing. Unit testings and unit testing versus other type of testing. Like we have many other types of testings like integration testing, functional testing, and regression testing. So how unit testing is different from that? Unit testing is the first phase, or we can say as the starting phase of testing life cycle, Like in unit testing, we test a particular piece of a code, whereas in regression testing, we test whether each unit of a code is after integration working fine or not. Then in functional testing, we test the overall the functionality of the application, whether it meets meet the business requirements, user requirements, and overall. And in regression testing, we test whether the recent change in the code base has made any error or made any problem in the overall the application. So when we have benefits of the unit testing, like as I have said, the benefit of the unit testing is the first line of defense for a developer to prevent the bugs and the error. So in unit testing is the early problem, early detection of the problem. Then this early detection reduce the cost and also promoting a test-driven development that will be. That test-driven development provide the developer to first write the test cases, then develop the code according to them, which will maintain the robust and correctness of the code base, leading to a better structure for code. And one of the more of the benefits of the testing is like documentation. When we do a unit test, we have a code coverage where we can add the documentation for the unit testing, and we can further move with that documentation and rectify what errors actually comes at the stage of the unit test. We have a different Python unit testing frameworks. So these are the most popular Python testing frameworks like Rover, PY test, unit test, dog test, and those. So Rover is a type of unit test framework that is open source, and it is basically used for automation testing. It's based on Python. And PY testing is also an open source Python based framework, which is basically based on a PYT project. And PY test is basically used for all over the testing, but mainly it's used for functional and API testing. Unit test. The unit test is also known as PY unit. It is originally originated from JUnit test, and it is automated testing of framework. Dog testing. So it is another type of a testing framework in a Python. The dog testing is basically used for a white box testing. Like white box testing is basically based on the application side testing. And Nose2 is a type of framework which is the extended version of the unit test. So the things which I have, the framework which I have used mainly for my demo purpose is for PY test and unit test. Further, I have discussed the basic difference between the PY test and unit test. Okay. So the PY test and unit test both are, as I have discussed, both are the Python framework for the testing. The PY test is like basically provide more user friendly, and it's easy to use, easy to set up, and in this we don't have to use the lots of the boiler codes, whereas in unit test we have to mention each structural folder where we have to keep the test folder, where we have to keep the test file. So unit test require a lot of the boilerplate, lot of the setups, whereas the PyTest is a strong tool which will automatically detect if we mention on a pytest.file, like this file you have to test and this is structure of the test, that pytest is the tool. And unit test comes with the supports like test fixture, test case, test suite, and test runner. Like usually this happens while in unit testing. We actually don't test on the real database. We mock that database, and then that mocking database can be done using anything like SQLite. So the unit test provided support the test fixture. What does that use of a cleaning temporary database? Then test cases is it's a specific response to a particular set of input, and test suite is like a collection of the all tests which has been written in the unit test, and the test runner is the function which provides the overall running of the test cases and provides the exact summary, exact output to the user. So these two is the main framework which I have used while this demo. So okay, first basically I have two Python project, like a Django project, another is the Flask project. In Flask I have prepared a user management application. Like user management application has a lot of the functionalities for the logging and register, where we have like 43 test case, overall logging functionality, adding of book functionality, deleting of book functionality. So I have tested this functionality, and in Guru application, this was a basic application which I prepared, adding of a to-do item, uncross, edit and delete. For this I have prepared like a 6 test case. This was done before the code development, like I have used the DDT approach. So I am presenting a quick demo on this both application. Okay, this is the to-do application. Where I am showing the server side. So this is the basic to-do application. For this I have wrote 6 test cases, like uncross, edit. It will be work fine on the server side. So for testing this application, the test cases which I wrote is in test.py. Here you can see the status code of 200. If it goes correct, the status code go for a 200, and all three are for 302. Exactly the 302 status code indicate that a link has been changed or link has been moved to other page. So if I do for a list, if I go for a delete, then of course after the delete that link will be navigated to the home page. For if it's navigated to the home page, then 320 status, and it will be note that okay, this operation has been successful. So same, I am running this using a PyTest, and I will same run as using a unit test case. Okay, so for if you see here for PyTest, it has passed 6 cases and 24 warnings. That warnings is the basically of packages. Like I have developed using a Python 3.9, but here in Mac it's around 3.8. So that was the packages which has been deprecated. So it will also give a warning about the packages and the test cases. These are the 6 test cases which has been passed, and this is the this summary is of PyTest. So same I am running for the unit test case framework. So for PY test, we have seen it has passed for the 6 test cases, and for the unit test, it again has passed for the 6 test case in 0.01 second. So the test cases which I have wrote, it exactly get passed. The main difference here we can see in the PY test and the unit test. Here in PY test, I was having a warning over 24. PY test give us a summary what actually going wrong also. Like these were the warning of the packages. So it also give a brief description of the warnings and the past cases. But in the unit testing, it just will show that what test case you have run and how it has been passed. This was the demo of the Django application. Same I am having a application of a Flask. So this is the Flask user management system. For this I have presented a PY test framework and I will show you. This is the user management application which is developing a Flask application. So it has a functionality like of a login. Let's go for a register to. And if I go for a login, means I am just presenting this that even on a console, even on a application side, we can perform this. Register and login functionality. So same I am presenting, showing you here how I am getting the test case process. So for Flask management application, in test folder, I am having a two type of a test folder like a functional test and unit test. So like I have earlier said that it has test cases of 43 and it's having a warning of 1700, which is a warning of the packages because packages have been deprecated. As I said that I work on a Python 3.8 and here is Mac, it's different version. So for this PY test case, it's running for 43 test cases. So 43 test cases and in PY testing we have has a detailed summary like which functions it has been running and what is running. I'm showing you now the test files. Like you have just see like it has been passed for 43 days. What if I change the login date for this? It must not be possible. Again, running same for this. See, one test case has been failed. One test case has been failed and 42 test cases has been passed, which just happened because of the changing of the threads. So, and it's not like I'm working on it with real database. This database has been mocked as a unit test case. It is not advised to run on the real database. We have done it in this as a SQLite. So this was the demo for this Flask application and we have project application. And
How can you develop a proper solution on this particular experiment? What kind of solution will be there?
next solution will be there like if a developer which is starting a new project, he or she can go for a TP approach. Just by going through a problem statement of the application, what application does will be going to contain. He or she can write the test cases, which test cases it should be run, which test cases it should be more critical, like in email section must have been at the rate and all. So writing the code before the test cases and writing the unit test case as a developer point of view only before going to a testing phase like that. It will be have to reduce the time cost because the error and the bugs we are detecting at the earlier age only. So it will be easy to debug also.
The detection of the bugs and all that kind of stuff. Generative AI is already doing a healthy work in that field. So do you think that generative AI can be a part of your solution? I think it must be a part of your solution.
So it can be if I get a chance to work more on this, I can further implement on the generative AI how it can be worked, like how it can be worked with the test cases and how it can be worked with the frame which is already exist, and it will be a more better approach if I am using a generative.
So I would recommend that you should think about using generative AI in this use case because generative AI is doing more than actual use case.
Yeah, exactly, sir. This is the framework has been designed for a just testing purpose, but generative AI will be give the real and the logical overview. Okay, sir. Any question? Okay, as I told, I have told like we have a two test framework, the unit test case and the PY test case. The unit test doesn't have that capability for the code coverage, but in PY test case, it's there. Like I have changed one grades which have not worked successfully. So this is the error message for that which has not worked successfully. And here I can see this function has been failed. This function is of a login. So here he can come like test validation login or logout. So here I have changed just one letter. So he or she can verify whether it's valid or not. If I correct this, and if I will again run for this, instead of the that one test case has been failed, it will work again. See, that test case has been not failed yet. With the function where the test case gets failed, that function gets notified yet, and we can work on that. And now for the test case as a result, which was passing away, it get passed. This was the only possible due to the PyTest. The other framework doesn't have this code coverage capability. Okay, so if anyone has any question, then ask. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ayush, for such a wonderful talk. I request everyone to please cast their votes and also to participate in them by asking questions. For the next demo, we have to answer Kaushik. Please welcome him.
So hello everyone, today I am going to present my demo on using Postgres from React using server-side rendering. So basically the vision of the demo is to integrate the database which is Postgres without having a backend infrastructure such as Golang or any Python such as. So the table of content of my demo is the problem statement, where I have already discussed about the problem statement which is given to me for making the demo. So the problem statement and then the use cases. So use cases I will be covering in after this slide. So basically the use case of the Postgres using server-side rendering is that we can use Postgres for storing and retrieving data. So the major issue of our database is that the database cannot provide us a persistent storage. So a persistent storage is that if a particular app is running and we terminate it by a terminal, so the data which we use for manipulating and inserting in the demo of our app should be remain in the database. So then the second use case is the complex data queries. So if we integrate a particular query in our front end, then it will be take time for rendering the data from the backend. So the time being when the data is fetching from database, then it should be having some difficulty. So we need to put time to what we can say time duration for sleep or for not rendering the UI components. So if the data is not coming from backend and the UI component is rendered, so it might throw us the errors which overall decreases the SEO score of our websites. Then the other use case is the authentication and authorization. So the database can also be used for authentication and authorization process in our websites. So then for the implementation of this demo, I have used PLB8 extension. So PLB8 implements, so the PLB8 is a PostgreSQL extension which allows the developers to run JavaScript function in the Postgres. So the features of Postgres is such as it provides us stored procedures. So basically we can define a particular stored procedures through which we can execute it any time when we require. And then after that is that we can also use triggers. So triggers are basically a function in Postgres which helps us into updating, deleting and inserting a particular value on a particular condition. Then the UDFs, so basically UDFs are user-defined functions where we as a user will define a particular function for a particular execution. So the working of PLB8 is that upon installing PLB8 in the Postgres, we can, as I mentioned, extend the capabilities of Postgres by integrating it with the JavaScript functions. So here we can write JavaScript function procedure directly in the database. So where we just need to select, where we just need to run a query such as select star from a particular function such as person, then we can easily fetch the data from database. Then the implementation. So here I have used NeonDB, which is a cloud database. So here what I have done is first step is to configuring the NeonDB and establishing an account over it. Then the second step is to create a PLB8 extension. So where here is a trick that we can also use the PLB8 extension in our localhost or a local device, but I have preferred to use it on NeonDB as it is a cloud platform, so where it doesn't require a particular device to run it on it. Just we need to give our connection string to a person who is rendering or using our app, then he or she might be able to run our app without facing any difficulties. Then the third step is to define JavaScript function. So here we need to particularly define the JavaScript functions. So where we need to manipulate the data and for the data fetching purposes. Then here is the, so such as I have already told, we need to just use PLB8.execute and then particular query for fetching the data from database. So here is the code example of a JavaScript function where we have using PLB8. So here we can see the code version is SQL. So I have declared a SQL global variable in my code. So where I just need to write SQL, then the query within it. So here I have also added a particular function where I have fetching the data from a particular table which is person. So in this I have made a particular JSON structure for the fetching the data. Then the challenges which are resolved are, first one is the data consistency and integrity. So the major challenge is to ensure the data consistency and integrity while performing our SQL, our database operations. So by utilizing a PLB8 extension with the Postgres, a developer can easily encapsulate a complex logic as well as within their query. And then there is the performance optimization. So as we do not need to rely on a particular backend for our data, we just need to query the database, so it provides us a faster response and have less chances of failure. Then let's start with the demo. demo is that we need to install the particular node version. So the node version which I'm using is 18, and then after we need to install all the dependencies. Then after we need to create a particular isolated VM for downloading our dependencies. So in this we have two virtual machines such as for running the code. The first one is the development and then the prod. And also after that we need to export a particular Postgres URL which we receive from the Neon DB itself. Then we need to run a particular command which is npm run dev. So then here is the implementation. So here if we click on run, so it gives us that we are inside the Postgres SQL 16 version. And after that, here is the implementation of the data fetching. So here we can see I have run the SQL star from %JSONB. So by executing it, we receive the particular response of the table which is there in the table which is already existing in the function which is %JSONB. So we can see that we receive a particular response with ID, last name and first name. And also for better understanding, here is the project structure. So project structure first of all starts with the source folder where we have the version.tsx file where it executing the SQL queries, which is stored in the RPC folder structure. So RPC folder structure have two TSX files. First one is the Postgres version, which helps us in fetching the which holds the query for fetching the Postgres version, and the second one is the person.tsx, which holds the query for fetching the particular data from a function which is person as JSONB. And then the folder structure is the second is the UI component, which holds the UI component file structure, which is button and the collapsible menu. And then the last folder is the build, which holds the build environment such as dev and prod. So, any questions?
Previously we also have SQLite, right? We can also integrate front-end directly with SQLite. So what advantage this provides over using SQLite?
So basically, if we have a particular database on PostgreSQL, so if we need to integrate with our front end, so we have only one option, which is PLB extension. So first of all, we need to create a particular extension. Then we need to make particular JavaScript function for rendering the data in the UI. So if we particularly need a particular database such as Postgres, then we can use PLB. Otherwise, we have many options such as in SQL. We also have particular functions such as PLB, and you already talk about SQLite, so we can also use that.
Why your PPT looks so similar to the साथ रहते हैं
So since the general methods, we have a fastest development process in front end. So we need to rely on back-end APIs. So rather than for testing our front end, we can simply put a dummy data on the PostgreSQL, and we can make a particular function for fetching that particular data. So we can easily check the usage and working of our front end. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanshu, for the wonderful demo on Postgres. For next demo, we have Vipul Dubey from Platform Ops. Please welcome Vipul Dubey. Before starting the demo, I request everyone to please cast their votes and also participate in demo by asking questions. Cast your votes.
Hello everyone, I am Vipul Dubey from Platform Ops, working as front-end engineer in TMS. Today I am here to present a topic mono-repo. So there is a vision for today, mono-repo understanding and how to use it. Table of contents for the today. First we see problem statement, then approach, then solution, architecture overview, tech stack, business value, and implementation data. So problem statement of the developing and maintaining project or application with multiple components, services and shared value model can become complex and efficient, especially when the project grows. As we are using multiple projects with similar UI. So when we have multiple projects, we create that component again and again from scratch. And then next challenges including dependency management, code duplication, team collaboration, consistency, and maintaining configuration file. Like when we create a new project, we manage its dependency or new same code for the same UI, and team collaboration, like each team cannot see the other project codes, and maintaining the configuration files like Node.js has packet or JSON or Docker files or deployment files. Like the current repository structure make it difficult for code sharing, like common utils or UI. Process of achieving a unified and standardized development workflow. Like current repository structure, we are managing a single project in single repository. So we cannot share the common components in same repository, other projects as well. Writing same code again for different projects from the scratch is time consuming. As a developer, we are writing the code for similar UI in different projects that make time consuming. And like approach, we are approach for resolving this problem. Now maintain multiple projects in a single project with that common dependency, configuration file, and other utils. Like we are maintaining a repository where we keep multiple projects and a common file for other utils and UI components. Utilize a mono-repo combined with turbo repo to streamline development, improve collaboration, and simplify dependency management for the application and associate component. Like we are using the mono-repo approach with turbo repo to improve our repository or development process. solution. Like here we see we are keeping one repository, and in that repository we are maintaining multiple applications and different libraries and architectural view. As we are currently following the polyrepo architecture, where we are keeping one project in a single repository. Now, the next is monorepo, where we are keeping the multiple applications in a single application.
Can you explain polyrepo once again?
So, like in polyrepo, we are keeping a single project file.
Okay, so one repository, one project.
Yeah.
That's how you have represented in practice. Repository 1, project 1, repository 2, project 2, project 3, project 2. Okay.
And for the monorepo, we are making one repository like Next.js monorepo, and we are keeping the configuration file in a single place and other application in a workspace and components, where we are keeping the common utils and components that have UI path. And here, like we see mobile app, their component where we are written the common UI or utils. From that you may be used from mobile application or also in web application. But in monorepo, we are keeping single repository for all three applications, and we are maintaining the node modules as a dependency in Node.js is maintained in node module file. Take a start like we are using a monorepository approach where multiple project or software components are stored within a single centralized repository. It contains the entire code base, including multiple projects, libraries, common utils, and components under a common version control system. Maintain single dependency for multiple projects in group structure. As we see previously, multiple projects are in single repository. TurboRepo. The TurboRepo is a built-in system that is majorly used for the JavaScript-based application. Monorepo can have extensive code base with numerous project and dependency. As a result, the build process becomes time-consuming, especially when rebuilding the entire code base after each changes. Like building the node modules again, when we make any changes in the code base, it takes time to build entire project. So TurboRepo will make it little fast for the building the applications. TurboRepo introduces selective build, allowing developers to rebuild on the code base that have changed. This significantly reduces build time by avoiding unnecessary rebuilding of unchanged components. Like already mentioned, it rebuilds the only part which it is make changes in the past. Then like code sharing becomes simple as multiple projects share the same repository. Share reusable code, configuration and dependency. Like become easy to share the code between the projects. Like we have multiple projects using the same UI, so we can create a single UI and use that in all the projects. And developers do not have to go through the process of publishing packages and resolving incompatibility with projects that rely on. Like here is another method, like we host a library and then use that component in our project. But in that, if library has any bug, then we have to make changes in that library and then release a new version and then update a version in our project. That becomes a long process. Consistency in project. As multiple projects share the same code base, and each project can easily share the coding style, tools for testing development and code maintenance. Like consistency, like we are using the similar component, like input box or any card. It becomes similar and it's increase our brand reputation by keeping a similar coding style or UI. Managing packages is easy since you don't need to install them on each individual project. That it's also made it easy that we don't have to install all the packages again for each of the project created newly. And there are some disadvantages you're using monorepo. Like if any changes have been made to any of the common components or utils, then it must be tested over the whole project before deployment. When any component changes made in common utils, UI or utils function, then we have to see all the projects that it will reflect and create a bug or not. As a code base grows, build time can increase affect development speed. Even if changes are isolated to a specific project, rebuilding the entire monorepo may be necessary. Like the number of projects grow, it increases the build time of the project. Also, the pull request becomes slow as the repository grows. Also, the cloning of the project or pull request take time. Security is difficult because a person working on a single project can be able to see all the project code base. As it's already all the project in the same code base.
So these are the clones of using turbo repo.
It's smaller purpose. Now the demo part. Here I created a root directory where I am keeping the similar files in a root folder like packages, Next.js configuration, or the Git or node modules that we use for each of the applications. And here are the one common folder for all the common UI and common utils we have been using in the both the app. So here the UI where I am using the similar input box for the both of the components, and I can pass the label as per my requirement, and the container is also the similar as build a common component in a common folder search box, and I am using in both of the applications. Here I am using the same component in Blazor and also same component in the other application. And here are the common for the board.
Because what are you trying to do in this particular demo? Means what are your steps to show the demo? First you will do this, then you will do this. What are you doing currently?
Just showing the demo like
Yes. What are the steps? What is the first step of your demo? What is second step? What is third step?
showing the UI and then showing the code where I am using that code in a similar component.
Okay. So you will show it in the repo structure of how you are going to do it.
Right here is a common repository
Uh-huh.
that have configuration for single configuration file. Package.json next configuration as I am using STS
Okay.
and one place node modules for all three or two applications.
Okay.
One common component folder that have common components like containers or tables or text field and that I am using in the two different projects from one place and also utils file utils that are having functions that can be used in both of the project. Currently I am using git current date in the whether that can I am using the current date. Also, if we make any changes in that file, it will reflect on once we build the entire project.
Please complete. Sir? Two suggestions. First of all, you have to work on your presentation. You are just reading it out and then explaining. That's the biggest thing. Next thing is whether you are presenting something and it is a point for all of the representatives. That if you are presenting a demo, please give a glimpse. What are you gonna do in that particular demo, so that I can relate with these things. See, मेरे पास वो स्किल नहीं है, ठीक है? मैं एक डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड से आता हूँ. मेरे को अंडरस्टैंड करने में थोड़ा ग्लिम्स चाहिए उस चीज़ का. कि हाँ ठीक है, ये चीज़ें होने वाली हैं. Then I will walk with the flow which you are showing. So these are two suggestions from my side.
Thank you, people, for the demo on Mono Repo. And for now, we will be having a short break of 30 minutes. And we will be joining here at 12:30. So, thank you.
and outside of the source code, we have the project configuration files. These are Angular JSON or PS configuration.json. This contains the configuration for the Angular application itself or the TypeScript configuration. So let's talk about manifest.json. Manifest.json provides the metadata and the configuration of our browser extension. It has few important keys that we must have. The first being the manifest version. The manifest version is the latest one. And then we need to define the name for our browser extension. The version we can decide it ourselves, and a small description, and then permissions. This is basically a list of the permissions that we need. Here I have given 3 permissions, asked for 3 permissions from the browser: the active tab, and the context menus, and the browser storage. And then the background script. This is the content script that I talked about earlier. And then the action key. This action key contains the default pop-up. This is basically this tells the browser where to look for, which file to look for when opening the pop-up window. That index.html, when we compile our application and we get this folder, the index.html is residing in that. And then we have the icons. There are 3 different icon sizes for different purposes. Like the smallest one is for when we click on the right click on the web page and get the context menu. And the other sizes are used in the toolbar or in the extension page. And also I added a little snippet of the small change that we need to make in our Angular JSON configuration. Here we need to provide a path for this manifest.json file and also the content script, because while compiling our the Angular compiler, we will look for this manifest.json file. Then this is the UI of the pop-up script. Basically, just I built a dictionary extension. So there is a input box and a submit button. So like I have used Angular's two-way binding to get the input from user and make API request with that input. Here in the TypeScript part, I have added some checks for to check if there are white spaces in the input and if it is a text or a number, and then make the API request and get the definition of the word. I have used an open source API for this browser extension. And this is the content script. Here we use different browser specific APIs. Basically, we can use for Chromium based API, we use this Chrome .context menu, Chrome.action APIs. And for non-Chromium based browsers like Firefox or Safari, we use browser APIs. One of the challenges that I faced with was that Manifest v3 does not support Material UI. And Material UI is a library package used for Angular applications. It's very popular and it's support to UI library for Angular applications, but it was not supported. So I had to go for normal Angular templates without using the library. And let's talk about how the extensions add business value. They obviously increase the user productivity. Like suppose I have created a dictionary extension. If like a user had to find the if the user has to find the meaning of a word instantly, then they have to first select the word and then copy it and then open a new tab and then Google it. And maybe they will also have to visit the dictionary site as well to look for the definition. Okay, we can just put the word in the pop-up window and then search for the definition. It also increases user engagement. Basically, just like now Microsoft has made an extension for Edge browser. Basically, they want users to use Edge more than other browsers. So they have added ChatGPT as an extension to Edge browser, and so it increases their user base. Some browser extensions are paid also. For example, Office extensions, Microsoft Office extension, we can use those, but they are paid. go to the demo part. So here you can see I packaged my extension. I'm going to paste this and search for a word. Random word. And here we get the definition in the Chrome browser. Let's see for a non-Chromium based browser, like Firefox. There is a slight difference in how we add an extension locally for a Chromium browser and a Firefox browser. Basically, in a Chromium based browser, we upload our test file, a compiled test file, this folder. But in Firefox, we just upload the matrix or JSON and the browser pages of the path for the application files. Here we can see the meaning of the word and the different definitions. So all about browser actions. Anyone has any questions?
Again, get like good extensions like compatible with every browser, right?
Yeah, but we have to keep in mind that, like I said, there are different browser versions for extension versions for Chromium-based browsers and not Chromium-based browsers. Like I have some differences in the manifest JSON file for Firefox and Safari, and some other things for the Chromium-based browsers like Edge, Chrome, and Opera.
Okay, can you please explain like how it is for Firefox, how it is different from Chrome?
Basically, the name of the keys, the structure of the manifest JSON remains same, but the keys they change. For content scripts, for adding content scripts, we use the service worker key in Chromium-based browser, but in Firefox browsers we use the scripts keyword. Minor changes about the key names basically, but the structure of the JSON file remains same. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Nikhil. So, I would request all of you to please react to the poll that they created. I can see only 9 to 10 participants are reacting to the poll, so I want everyone to react. Please. Okay, so next we have Sahil Kaushik from Platform Ops, and he's a full stack developer. He's working in 2 projects now in Light Data and DMS also, and his expertise are like React and Golang. And today he will explain about edge computing in using Golang. In this, he will explain the like features of Golang and how it is like better than other languages.
So hello everyone, I'm Sahil Kaushik. So currently I'm working as a full stack developer in DMS and light data also. So today we will be discussing about edge computing with Golang. So let's get started. So the motive of this discussion is basically about the distribution systems, basically with the real-time insights, the data we are extracting or analyzing, the issue we are getting of the latency. So how we can resolve this issue? Basically every time you might have listened about in the case of IoT things or in the edge processing we are using Python, maximum of the things. So why we are using Golang here? Golang basically just made with the mindset of concurrency. So this is the main reason here we are using Golang in this situation. So let's get started. So the table of content basically the problem statement, the approach I have followed and the solution. After that I will show you the architecture overview, then the tech stack I have used, and after that we have business values, and finally we have a demo. So the very first thing that I had already discussed, we are getting latency issue. So how Golang works in this situation? Let me tell you first what is edge processing or edge computing you can say. Basically, let me take an example of any device. Like I have a smartwatch in my hand. How this basically works? While you are running or while you are walking, you are waving your hands and it's collected some data, and there is a threshold level for this. When in my company watch, it after the 5,000 steps, it's giving pop-up like congratulations, you have reached the 5,000 steps, you have completed this. So this is the thing, this is the edge device you can say. In this, so to achieve this, I have followed an approach. That's basically I had a setup of communication protocol. What I have used in this is an MQTT, a mosquito messaging protocol you can say. That's basically a messaging service. After that we have a Golang service implementation which will be handling the interaction, and after that the data processing and the application logic I will be telling you. So the solution basically just with the Golang. In the Golang we have multiple things like inbuilt primitives we can say. We have coroutines. I think most of the developers are here who are from chapter platform might have listened about these things, the primitives in Golangs like coroutines, channels, and some of the things are like fan out and fan in operations. So I'll be telling you everything step by step. The very first thing is coroutines. Coroutines basically very lightweight threads you can say. As you can say, let me tell you about the processor. Like you have a processor with the 12 core. To do the task you can use the processor threads. As you have multiple threads, then the task will be performed very easily. But if you have a very less level processor, so in case of that you can use Golang threads that are basically used in the used at the runtime. The threads are executing at the runtime basically. So how these works? So let's take an example. I will be taking an example of TMS project. We have a transport orders. Basically, for everything, whatever we are delivering, we are creating a trips and transport orders. In the transport orders, I was creating an API for listing the details of transport orders. So in that we have a lot of addresses. One is for sender, receiver, and recipient also. So to get all the details from the Postgres, this is the DB. So we are extracting the details. So if we are getting the details without using the coroutines, so you might be getting the latency issue. How? At one time you can get the address of one person only, either the sender or the receiver or recipient. But with the coroutine, how can you get everything at a single level? So here concurrency comes in the part. So let me tell you one thing what is concurrency and parallelism. So parallelism basically means you are doing multiple tasks at a time, but concurrency means you are dealing with multiple tasks at a single time. So this is the concurrency that follows by Golang. So this is the part of coroutines, and after the channelism part, so channel is the medium, you can say, between coroutines you can use. Like I have executed two coroutines, one for sender and one for receiver. So if they want to communicate with each other, then how they can? With the help of channels. With the help of channels they can communicate. One coroutine can send their data to another coroutine. So this is the concept. If any one of you guys have some knowledge of like you can say Apache Kafka or anything, you might have listened about the PubSub model. So that's also working like this, that it will, one coroutine can send message to another and another can receive. So this is the thing here. And about the fan out and fan in operation, what I have told you earlier, fan out means you have a single task and then you distribute it in multiple coroutines, like you are executing multiple coroutines. So this is the fan out operation. You distributed the task in multiple situations, and after that you are receiving from another function which is having the receiver a channel. Like everyone knows, every developer knows that a function returns something. So here we are returning a channel from a function. So multiple coroutines are executed, and all just return a channel, all just returning their data into a channel. And finally, at the resulting set, we are just integrating all the things and we are getting all the result set in a single way, in a single routine. So this is the fan-in operation, we can say. So this is the part of Golang. And the architecture diagram, I can tell you, the very first thing I will be doing implementation from the Golang services. Then I will be handling interactions and data processing and application logic. I will be using the PostgreSQL database to storing my aggregated data, that what I have collected. About the MQTT I have already told you. So these are the tech stack. So we need a Docker setup for this to run the MQTT. This is basically message queuing telemetry transport. That's basically a protocol that you have to use. So, and another thing is Golang and IoT device and any sensor you can use. Currently I don't have any IoT sensor or like you can say any device. So I have assumed, I have created an application for a sensor like temperature sensor. What I have created, this application basically runs in multiple coroutines and just publishing the temperature in every, like you can say every after 2 to 3 seconds. It's publishing the temperature exactly the sensor can do. So this is the whole application I have created separately. And another thing is, which is the publisher application. The edge application mainly what is doing. So let me tell you the architecture of MQTT. MQTT basically works with the components. The very first thing is publisher and another is subscriber, and there is a broker also. Everyone listen about the broker. So what exactly happens? We have a sensor. Sensor is publishing the data. So that means it's publishing. The work of publisher has done. And then where it goes? It goes to the broker. So there will be multiple clients. Like we can say Balram is here, Abhishek is here. So who wants to subscribe? So like Balram subscribed it first, then it will be getting from the broker. There will be a topic also with which topic you are subscribing. So like I am just publishing, like I am publishing the temperature with the topic temperature. So I have published that, and another site in the edge application I am just subscribing it. So this is the architecture of MQTT. So the business values, we can say we can get a real-time insight with that. Basically with the faster process, you can say, as you can say with the Golang concurrency, this is only used for concurrency. As you need faster things with a low latency, basically in the Python, we have some visualization libraries, you can say. For that part, we can use Python in a better way. But if you need, like, I'm taking an example. Like we have a server room. So in server room, every time we just need a temperature from there. Also, like we can say, when the threshold cross, like the temperature cross from 20, we can say, then send me a notification. So we can set an IoT device there. So this will send us an insights, like every time in a faster way. How can it be faster? Like the very first thing what will happen, it will collect some data and then it will process what data we just need. We are not extracting the whole data from this. Like the temperature sensor will publish lot of data. Every time the data will be different in every seconds, but we don't need every data. We just need the aggregated data from that. So for that we are just extracting and analyzing these things, and multiple go routines will be executing there. And in one go routine it will be extracting data. In second go routine it will be just analyzing and processing the data and storing it to locally. Then the aggregated data with another go routine using the channel, it will be stored to the cloud server. The aggregated data we want. There can be a warning sign or whatever it is. This data can be only stored to the cloud. So this is the things, and we can improve the efficiency that I have told you and customize user experience. You will get a better user experience with the Golang because you have multiple features. So these are the things. So let's start with the demo. I'm just starting the Docker container for MQTT. successfully. I will run the Postgres container also. Okay. So as you can see, the Docker is now started and my container for MQTT is up and running now. So this is the MQTT part. So we have run successfully here, and the MQTT has been successfully run on the 1883 port, and another one port is to access it outside from the container, I mean locally. So this is the thing, and now I'll be just running my application. So this is the application. Here you can see this is the temperature application, which will be publishing some temperature at some seconds. Just wait a second. Guru sir? So sorry for that. Basically, the reason is I'm not able to run this in Mac. Basically, yesterday I have got the same issue with that not authorized issue. I have done all this setup in the Linux. So I don't know how this is not authorizing. Yesterday I have resolved that, but the same time I'm getting the same issue. But I'll be explaining everything about this, how it's working. So in the starting, what I had told you, the MQTT container was running. In that, a broker is there. When I'll be publishing some temperature from here, like I have a client options, will be passing a TCP connection to that on the 1883. There will be a broker code. So we'll be publishing some temperature like every single seconds, but I'm not getting like the real insights, whatever I want from like from the temperature. So in this application, I have used a Go routine here, like a Go keyword you can see here for publishing the temperature, and there is a channel. This is the keyword and this is the syntax for channel. As you can see, when it will be getting some error or getting any issue, the client will disconnect it as getting the result from the channel, send it by the Go routine. So this is the thing here, and in another application, yeah, basically in this, yeah, exactly here, there is basically a message handler. As you can see here, I have used Postgres for data insertion, what I have collected from that, like from the data source, and aggregated some data and just storing into the database. So as you can see here, I have added a threshold level here, like a range between minimum range and maximum range. If I'll be getting the temperature result between 20 to 25, it will be getting this and directly stored into the DB. Like as you can see here, there is a function for aggregated data. It will just collect the aggregated data from the range between this threshold, and after that it will be directly stored to the database, whatever we just needed. So this is the actual implementation. I just wanted to show you, but unfortunately, just because of the Mac, I don't know why I'm getting the no authorized issue. So this is the whole implementation. I'll be showing you in future also. So thank you.
Can you suggest to any industry like ceramic fiber industry, those are making the ceramic fiber and they are maintaining the temperature around 400 degrees centigrade?
Yes, sir.
Can you suggest any IoT device to them that to maintain the temperature of that chamber? What instrument or what product they must use?
Sir, the basic reason or the basic thing I have already told you, the temperature sensor, or like we can just attach, this is also a sensor we can say, we can attach to there, like from where we just want to extract the data for the temperature, as you are saying, below the temperature or whatever it is, we can just fit it there, and with the concurrency of Golang, we can just get the real-time insights, the every data, every single second data as you want, in a very fast manner and easily, as every time.
That continuous temperature must be going reaching to the control room. But if the control room wants,
okay, let me tell you,
Yeah.
the continuous data, every single second, the temperature sensor will be generating some data. So the whole data you are just not extracting. You have started a threshold range. Like I just need only the temperature between 20 to 25. If this will be crossed, then give me a notification that there is some issue in the server room or where it is placed, like wherever your temperature sensor. Then you will be notified wherever you have connected, like in my watch, every time I am just getting notified on my mobile. So this is the thing.
I just want, can you suggest any IoT device to industry where they can continuously monitor their temperature? And if they can monitor, how you will advise them, what solution you will give them that they can maintain it if it goes up and down. Suppose it is a 400 degrees centigrade, it goes up by 25 and come down. How they can automatically maintain it?
We can just create.
What solution you can give?
We can just create an edge application for that by using any sensor or like a temperature sensor, which will be directly communicating this application. Like I have created this application. I can create an application and offer to an organization like this will be taking you the better result for this if you are facing some issue related to the temperature or anything.
So what equipment you are going to fit over the source?
This basic temperature sensor only. This is the thing only. The sensor we can fit there.
Which are the main companies?
Sir, okay, I'm telling you in a very short term, like we have a temperature sensor. This sensor will not directly transmit the data to you, but it will store the data on a local server. Every data, whatever it's being generated, every single data will be stored to the locally. Then the local data will be aggregated, as I have created the edge application. With the help of this Golang application, with the fast mechanism, you will be storing the aggregated data which you need only, as according to the organization. You will be storing the data onto the cloud server. From there, you will be get notified from the cloud server. You can be everywhere at that time. From the cloud server, you will be get notified. Any questions?
Here we are dealing with latency issues, right? And the solution is multi-threaded processing.
Yes.
So there are other languages that also support the multi-threaded processing like Scala and Java. So why we are here only using Golang?
Basically, if you have listened about the multi-threading concept, if you have used also, we are using Xenrix to make the threads concept. We are just invoking the threads from the CPU. So the issue behind that is only we just need to have multi-core CPU. If there will be issue related to thread, we are executing. Basically we are just directly contacting to the CPU. But here we don't have connection to the CPU. The threads in the Golang are just runtime. Any more? Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. Great presentation. You explained very well real-time examples. I request everyone to please deactivate the voice of staff. Now I want at least 30 response to our poll. Previously it was like 20, 22, so please everyone deactivate. Okay, thank you everyone joining the demo. Thank you.
Thanks, Pura, for such a supportive chapter lead. I request, as it was our last demo, so I request every presenter to join on the podium for a group photograph. Please, Sai, Ayush, Yanshu. Please give them a round of applause. request everyone to join on the podium for a group photograph.